Let's talk about e-reservation. E-reservation is the way we can reserve our bookings like hotel or flight booking or road trip booking, etc. with the help of electronic device. So e-reservation is the process of getting a ticket booked to travel anywhere in the world using internet. So these are the some websites or name of the services that offers this facility of e-reservation, like abhibus.com, redbus.in, cleartrip, irctc, etc. Okay, so there are any advantages of e-reservation. First, safety. While booking an e-ticket, you can directly store your details in the company database. It is safe and reliable to make any changes, cancellations, or annotations, as all these take place inside the secure electronic database. So it provides you the safety of information. Second is ease means e-tickets can be purchased online and printed at home. The theft or loss of the printed e-ticket is not a worry. It can easily be retrieved and reprinted again. Third, facility is available anywhere, that is 24/7 facility. Buying an e-ticket is simpler and faster. One can buy e-tickets anywhere where there is an internet connection. And last but not the least, it is fast. E-tickets cuts on manual time. That is, you don't have to stand in a queue, etc. for getting the tickets. The need for middlemen, the best price, the best routine availability, all these can be made available by websites offering this type of e-ticketing system. So these are the advantages of e-reservations. Now let's talk about the some of the applications area where e-reservations can be used. It can be used in travel tickets. One can e-reserve tickets for train travel, air-based travel from different sites that provide with this facility. Hotel rooms, with e-reservations one can reserve rooms in different hotels, okay, according to their budget. Sports matches, using e-reservation you can buy tickets for matches of different sports. Okay, movie and theater ticket e-reservation, you can buy e-tickets for a movie show or a theater playing using sites, apps like Book My Show or Paytm, etc. Events also, using e-reservation you can buy tickets for events taking place in a city, such as exhibition, fairs, live performance, etc. So these are the areas where e-reservation applications can be used. So here you can see that IRCTC is also an example of e-reservation. Book My Show is also an example, Make My Trip, yatra.com, etc. Okay, now we will see about the e-reservation process. So here you can see the images that first of all you have to fill the registration form to create account. Here we are talking about the IRCTC website, how we can book ticket. Okay, so first of all you have to fill the registration form to create your account. For all these services we need an user login ID and password. So for getting that login ID and password you have to fill a registration form, that you can say ticket registration form. After filling ticket registration form you have to go on login to account. There you can use that login ID and password to get into your account. Third step is, after login to account you have to check the availability of the service and then you have to fill the form and make payment. So here in the image 2.19 you can see the checking availability of tickets. If it is available then you can book on clicking on book now. You can book your ticket, that is filling form. In that you have to enter the name of a person, age, gender and your birth preference. That means you want lower birth, middle birth or upper birth. Like this you can book your train ticket, or similarly you can go for flight ticket also. With their options can be different but process remains the similar. Okay, first you have to log into your account and then you have to choose the correct option. So this is about the IRCTC train ticket booking. Okay, let's talk about the next service, that is e-governance. E-governance means accessing the government facilities with the help of electronic media, or if we talk about the definition you can say e-governance refers to application of electronic means in governance with an aim of fulfilling the requirements of common man at affordable cost and in fastest possible time. Okay, so this e-governance means we are interacting, that citizen of India can interact with the government 24/7. It helps the citizen to connect with the government facility via electronic means. Use of electronic means in internal government operations to simplify, improve democratic government and business aspect of governance. Okay, so this is about e-governance. Now we will see that in the domain of e-governance, the interaction is an umbrella term that covers the delivery of government products and services like exchange of information, communication, transactions, and system integration. So National e-governance plan, that is NEGP, has been formulated by the government to promote e-governance on a massive scale, that is large scale. So the vision of National e-governance plan says that making all government services accessible to the common man in his local through common services delivery outlets like e-mitra etc., and ensures efficiency, transparency and reliability of information at affordable cost to realize the basic need of a common man. So this is the motive of National e-governance plan. And government also launched an Digital India, or India digitally connecting. This is the initiative taken by the government, Digital India movement, and in that free mobile applications launched by government of India for services like Aadhaar, DigiLocker, Bharat Bill Payment, Employee Provident Fund Organization, etc., Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana services, All India Council of Technical Education survey mobile app is there. Okay, CBSC app is there. Indian Railway ticket booking, e-district, e-panchayat, passport, and other more applications are launched by the government for the help of Digital India movement. So these are the initiative taken by the government for digitalizing India. Okay. Here you can see major e-governance projects in India. That see, first is MCA 21, India's prestigious government to business plan services portal. G2B means government to business. Okay, so MCA 21 is a project that provides stakeholders or businessmen with convenient and secure online access to all the services by Ministry of Company Affairs, key services that can be availed through the MCA 21 portal. So these are the portal. This is a portal through which businessmen can offer the facilities that is provided by Ministry of Company Affairs. So the site is www.mca.gov.in. Nowadays we will see that there is Supreme Court and High Court, they are using that e-court facility, etc. So these are the some major governance projects in India. So first we have seen MCA 21. Now second is Consular Passport and Visa Division. We can form a passport with the online facility. So the Consular Passport and Visa Division is a division of Ministry of External Affairs that provide Indian Passport Office for people of India. It is an executive agency of government of India that is responsible for issuing Indian passport. In that we have to fill a form, and then they will give us a date for passport, and then we have to go to the office and do the other formalities. So website for that is http passport.gov.in. Next project is Income Tax Portal. Some major services offered by Income Tax Portal includes preparing and filling of individual income tax return or TDS returns by tax deductors, filling and tracking of PAN card, TAN application status, inquiry of tax payment in banks, and access of taxation rules and taxpayer specific information. So website is http www.incometaxindia.gov.in. Next is National Portal of India. That is, National Portal of India has been developed with an objective to enhance a single window access to information and services being provided by various Indian government entities. Example, India.gov.in. Next is DRDO, that is the Defense Research Development Organization. It is a network of more than 50 laboratories which are deeply engaged in developing defense technologies, covering various disciplines like aeronautics, armaments, electronics, combat vehicle, engineering system, instruments, missile, advanced computing, supercomputers and simulations, special material, naval system, life sciences, training, information system, agriculture, etc. So for that particular department, URL is drdo.nic.in. Next is Supreme Court of India. Supreme Court of India is the highest judicial body in India, and it also provides web presence in the form of website that can be used to know about Supreme Court judgments, case studies, and news, e-filing, etc. That URL is http:// Supreme Court of India.nic.in. Next is Indian courts. The Indian court is also provides a websites for Supreme Court and all the 21 high courts and their benches in India. It provides a single point of access to information related to Supreme Courts and High Court, and its website is www.indiancourts.nic.in. RTI, that is Right to Information Portal. Right to Information Act 2005 mandates timely response to citizen request for government information. To access that portal, we are having a website that is rti.gov.in. It is used for maintaining the transparency in the system, and there are many more websites and portals that are a part of e-governance mission of India. And some of the URLs are indianairforce.nic.in, indiannavy.nic.in, indianarmy.nic.in, and goidirectory.nic.in, and pensioners portal.gov.in, Indian image and .nic.in, welcome.html, etc. Okay, so these are the various projects that are run by Government of India. Okay, and let's talk about the advantages of e-governance. So first is expanded reach of government. With enhancement and availability of the internet services in the country, more and more people can now connect to the government portals available online. Second is increased convenience. With the increased population and accessibility of online government portal services like applying for passport, license, document related to property, etc., has been convenient to access. Next is high transparency. E-governance has increased transparency in the internal government process. Now the citizens can quickly get the information about the services for which they may have applied, hence reducing the gap between the citizens and the government. Next is reduced corruption. Barrage of bureaucratic hurdles and inadequate mechanism of complaint handling can lead to corruption. So e-governance makes all the bureaucratic processes transparent and clear, which helps to de-escalate the problem of corruption. That means decreases the problem of corruption. Next is direct participation of constituents. People can now report various problems on the government portals, and the different government bodies present on the portal can collaborate with people to provide a solution to their problems. This has enhanced the active participation of people in a democracy. Next point is reduction in overall cost. Administrative cost is the cost incurred by the government in providing various services to its citizens. With the help of e-governance, the expenditure on the development of infrastructure facility is minimized to a large extent. Okay, so let's talk about some of the disadvantages of e-governance. First is non-availability of internet services in many rural and remote areas. So it has the rural people, they are not having access to the government portal, and then it becomes difficult for them. Second point is, despite providing a high level of security, the government portal are still vulnerable. That means open to cyber attacks, stealings, and misuse of data by the hackers. Third point is lack of awareness among people about the services provided by e-governance. The rural people, they are not so techno savvy, so they are facing the problems and has not been able to serve the purpose for which it was initiated. So no knowledge or little knowledge of these services has kept people away from using these services. Many services provided to the citizens are still not a part of e-governance and need direct interaction among the people and the administration. So these are the some disadvantages of e-governance. As I have already told you that everything is having pros and cons, so we have to consider both the positive and negative aspect together. Okay, so let's talk about the e-group. E-group refers to an online community, as we have seen the news group, so that is particularly related with news, and here e-group means it can be with any group. So it is just an online community where people discuss on topic of common interest. A message posted in such a discussion board discussion is known as post, and all the posts are listed together on a discussion board which is viewable to all the members of the group. So it is just a group of people that can interact with their thoughts and ideas commonly at some platform, and each post each individual things that you are sending, that is known as post. So now here I will not tell you about the advantages and disadvantages of e-group. That is your homework, that you just find out and read from your books about the advantages and disadvantages. And if you are having any problem in e-groups, then you can ask me here. Okay, so let's talk about the next topic, that is social networking. Social networking service, that is also known as social networking site or social media. It is an online platform which people use to build social networks or social relationship, or you can say networking means grouping. So social grouping over the internet is known as social networking. Okay, who can share similar personal or career interest, activities, background, or real life connection. So best example of social networking site is Facebook. Apart from that, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, these are the examples of social networking site, and all of you are somewhere related with the social networking site. So second point is social networking services vary in format and number of features. They can incorporate a range of new information communication tools, operations on desktop, laptops, mobile devices, etc. So social networking sites allow the users to share ideas, digital photos, videos, or posts, and to inform others about online and real world activities and events with people in their network. So it is sharing of information. Next is there are some advantages of social networking site and disadvantages also. So here advantages are easier to connect with social networking. We can connect with our friends or relatives by creating our account and finding them. So the advantage is that it is easier to connect with friends, families, classmates, customers, and clients in today's fast paced life with otherwise which is difficult in real life. And you can also rekindle with your old friendships, share family photos and special events in your life with just a click on the mouse. Next is create new connections. With social networking we can create a new connection with the stranger also. If we are having a proper communication, we can become friends. Okay, you can say that with that social networking we can seek out groups that are focused towards special interest and hobbies and can connect with those that share the same interest as ours. Okay, third thing is free business promotions. These social networking sites are also are also used for promotions, ads, etc. So companies and artists can reach a diverse and large number of people using social media sites. This allows them to promote and market themselves and their products on a large platform. Many of you have seen some videos, maybe watched some videos on other post on Facebook, and then in between you will find some promotional ads. So that is just for promotion, business promotion. Okay, Next point is ads in criminal cases. Social networking services are increasingly being used in investigation of criminal cases. It can provide evidences in the form of photographs, status updates, people location at a particular time, and conversation between the persons involved. So it helps in cases, criminal cases also. Last point is spread information incredibly fast. Social networking sites provide a medium through which news and other important information can be shared or spread like a virus. So we can use this term also, that this video is becoming viral. So that means it is spreading much fast. So important events and casualty in a terror attack or missing children are all communicated, and immediate actions can be taken for the same. So these are the advantages of social networking. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of social networking. So first one is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying means someone is using someone other's identity, or they are just harassing someone. That comes under the cyberbullying. So increased use of communication technology has led to a new form of harassment known as cyberbullying. Young kids publicly harass one another by sending or posting abusive text messages, email, or pictures which are visible to the entire cyber world. So that comes under the category of cyberbullying, and it is also a crime. Second point is less real life interaction. With the increase in social networking communities, people refer to meet their friends and relatives via social networking sites only. That results in lack of real time interaction. Third is addiction. That is also a problem, that people get addicted to these sites. Third is misleading information. Social networking sites can be quick way for people to learn about breaking news, but it is also not always accurate. Some people spread false and misleading information through these websites, which unnecessarily cause panic among others. Next is misuse of information. That is, so social networking site, they are not providing enough security to the person data of a user. Even after enabling the privacy setting, the information is visible to a lot of unknown people, and a stranger with bad intentions cleverly steals and misuse this information. Third one, next one is fake profiles. Social networking site have a massive number of users with the fake identities who may exploit others people and mislead them. So this is also a disadvantage. Next is peer pressure. Peer means nearby. So people tend to post false information about themselves, falling prey or victim to a peer pressure. And people do such silly things to catch the attention of aristocrats, which lead them to harmful consequences. So these are the disadvantages of social networking sites. Next topic is mobile technology. Mobile technology is a technology which is mainly used for communication in mobile devices. So SMS is also one of the mobile technologies, that stands for short message services or texting. Next, it is a quick and convenient way to send short messages on mobile phones. Next is MMS, that is multimedia messages. You can include multimedia content like pictures, audio, and videos files along with messages and send to another mobile device. Third is 3G technology. 3G means third generation of wireless mobile technology, which made the streaming of audio and video files possibly without any interruptions. 4G is fourth generation technology. It is an IP, Internet Protocol based packet switching integrated system with a high speed data transmission rate of 100 Mbps to 1 Gbps. Mbps means megabits per second to 1 Gbps, gigabits per second. 5G means 5th generation technology. It offers faster data transmission and support high quality of picture interaction, multimedia, and streaming audio, video, files, etc. So these are the mobile technologies that are used nowadays, and all of you are familiar with all these things. So this chapter is over. Thank you so much.